Hi, everybody. It's Sandy Kreisberg here, and our candidate, ZY, who is a very powerful applicant. He went to Rice, and he got a 3.78, was a highly ranked tennis player. So it's Rice, and then he started his working career. He's had two jobs. Mr. ZY, why don't you tell us about your two jobs?
Yeah, so out of school, I went to a large cap energy company, an E&P company, and worked in the business development group, doing a lot of monitoring of external companies, a little bit of M&A work, and did that for 1 year, and then transitioned to a smaller oil and gas company in the corporate finance group, and have been there for about a year and a half.
Okay, 2.5 years of working experience. First year in business development at a petroleum company, not a major, and then now you're in the corporate finance department of another. It looks like another. Is that extraction or energy?
It's an energy in the minerals. It's on the minerals side of the business.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what we got. A three. Yeah. Can we give your statistics here? 3.78.
Yep.
And 7.10 GMAT.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a career at Rice with a 3.78, and we've got two jobs, sort of a year each. That's a little unusual. How come one of the things you're going to have to address is why you left the first job after the year?
Yeah, to be frank, it just wasn't the best fit for me. The role I was in, I wasn't getting the type of job experience that I felt was worthwhile. And so I wanted to go to a company where I could have more of an impact. And that's why I transitioned to a smaller company where I could interact with other departments more, interact with a diverse set of group of people.
Okay, so that's your story. 3.78, 7.10. Rice is a very good school, and you worked for a company for a year, didn't like it, and you moved to another company. These are companies that are not, Fortune 5. Well, they might be Fortune 500 companies, but they're not on the radar of most business schools. Mm-hmm. And you want to go to your choices are Duke, UCLA, NYU, and Chicago. Okay, mm-hmm. I'll give you my answer here. Chicago is a reach. NYU would be, they take guys like you and they reject guys like you. There's a good chance of getting in there. Duke is probably the Duke you should get into. You could almost, I wouldn't call it a safety, but that's where you should get in. UCLA is also where you should get in. You might also look at Kellogg, Michigan, UVA, and Berkeley. Have you ever thought of those?
Yeah, so Michigan is one I started to think about a bit, and then you said the last one was Berkeley.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Berkeley as well. So I'm planning on visiting both UCLA and Berkeley together at some point in the next coming months. I wasn't 100% sure where I stood as a candidate, what would be a reach, what would be in my kind of correct zone. And so I didn't want to put too many of like Chicago, Columbia, Berkeley thinking,
and
all my time. But
here's your story. White male. We'll return to that. I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It looks that way. Okay, Rice, good school, 3.78. 7.10 GMAT. What am I going to tell you? How many times have you taken it?
I've taken it twice. I'm taking it again in a few weeks. I'm hoping to get a few more points. I've mocked.
Okay, so
I'm hopeful. I'm not.
Yeah. So you've already embraced my tough love.
Yeah, no, and that's what I heard is I thought 7.10 was good enough, and then demographics come into play, and it's like, well,
Yeah, if you had a 7.30, mm-hmm. The schools would deny it. There's the famous fib that anything, we don't care about any, as long as it starts with a 7. That's not true. For white male guys like you, the difference between a 7.10 and a 7.40 and a 7.30 It's hard to say how it would play out, but it's real, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you seem to know that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just a question of how you going to put this together? What are you going to say your goals are?
Yeah, I think for me, I'm really interested in either going into consulting or marketing analytics. I need to definitely talk to more people and find out about both of those career paths. But those are the two career paths that I would really like to go into, especially with the marketing analytics. I'd love to go work in sports. I have a sports background.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's you could say that. Yeah, that you could say marketing analytics or consulting. What you should say is consulting with analytical focus. That would be a great way to position yourself, and it would help them understand why you're getting out of minerals and petroleum.
Yeah.
So so if you positioned yourself that way, and man, got that 730, I'd say your chances of getting into Duke would be really 40-50%. That's real good. And NYU, real good. UCLA, Chicago is kind of your reach school. Man, apply to Kellogg. They might like you more, and you'd have a less intense experience. And yeah, Berkeley would be a good place for you too.
And as of right now, if say I wasn't able to get the 730, or I get a 710 or a 720, would those odds just not be very good at those schools, or would they still be okay?
Let's just deal with the 710. Let's say you don't take the GMAT again.
Yep.
I think you should get into Duke. I think you should get into NYU, and I think UCLA might be a small reach, and Chicago, I don't see it. You'd be asking them to blink twice. But once at the 710, and once at no name firms from their point of view, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just from their point of view.
Yeah.
They don't know what this firm is like.
Yep.
And so that's their thinking. You're a simple story, friend. Tough, and you know it. Retake the GMAT. It's just one of those little annoyances on the road of life that the payoff is very large compared to the level of annoyance.
Yep.
Other than that, you're a solid, likable guy. And,
thank you.
And I think you do well. And yeah, you leaving Houston might be helpful as well. So you've been there a long time for school. How did you wind up at Rice?
Tennis, more or less. Was recruited to play tennis there, and academics are really good. So it was just kind of it was a good fit.
Where'd you go to high school?
Working in the energy industry when I was thinking about,
Oh yeah, okay. So you went to high school in New York.
Yes,
okay.
yes. So I grew up in New York and then went to Rice.
Yeah, you got to present yourself as a non-Southerner, because I knew you went to high school in New York, but this is all Houston, including the internship. So you got to say,
yeah. Most of my
I'm not from Houston.
Yeah.
I was rooting for the Nets. Okay, yeah, you should get into these places, all right? And we wish you a lot of luck.
Thank you very much. Thank you for taking the time to talk with me.
You're welcome.